welcome to Council Action. I'm Russell Inman, and joining us tonight from Ward 1 is Councilman Tim Lee.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well.
You staying warm?
I'm trying. You know, this February, it's kind of like we're experiencing January and February, and we had maybe February and January. January wasn't this cold, but February is bitter.
See, when you're old like me, you can retire and stay home and just look outside and not have to worry about it. So,
well, I look forward to that stage in life.
All right. Short meeting tonight.
Very short. So we had about a 35-minute meeting to cram into a 23-minute show tonight. I'm sure you're going to go into a lot of detail with everything, right? No hearings from citizens tonight. Now remember, that's a time when you get to come down as the public and just address a topic to the council. Now they're not going to really conversate with you, but bring up an issue or bring up something you like about the city. That's your chance, and tonight nobody took that opportunity.
No, and it's a shame sometimes, but you know, if you come down, like Russell said, it's not a question and answer period, but if you have a concern or a question, you can always call me, call your council person, email, write, but come down and make us aware of those things, and we'll usually meet with you after the meeting or make an appointment to talk to you about it, and it's just good an opportunity for people to stay involved. So, on the other hand, it's good when people aren't upset about something. So.
Yes, sir. And no public hearings tonight.
No.
So no businesses trying to come in and make any changes.
No.
But we did have some second readings from last meeting to go over, and kind of a common occurrence. This first one got postponed again. This is the ordinance to rezone for the CVS pharmacy, the second CVS coming to Florissant.
Yeah, that's going to be in Florissant Meadows Shopping Center, and city attorney notified us that their attorney, John King, had called and asked to postpone it tonight. So okay. I think we're ready to go, and it's just going to be a matter of getting them their permissions and be ready for a second CVS pharmacy.
Okay. We had an ordinance to authorize a special use permit for Dinner Lab, STL. So this came through with a second and a third reading passing tonight. We talked a little bit about that one at the last meeting. Pretty interesting story there.
It's an interesting concept, and I've actually been to one. It's not through this company, but you basically have chefs that come in and they go to different locations. Sometimes it's at a house, sometimes at another business, and they basically cater a dinner, sometimes a 5-course dinner with wine and everything. It's kind of a neat thing. Like I say, I went to one in Illinois one time, and it was kind of a unique experience. It's like $50 a person, and just kind of something different. So they're going to be using this facility only for their cooking and food preparation, and then loading up and taking it to other places. But kind of a unique concept. So glad to have them on board.
The second one we had tonight was an ordinance authorizing the reimbursement of capital expenditures. This is proceeds from some of the tax-exempt bonds.
Actually, the next three, we're going to kind of roll those all together. The next three are all have to do with the new municipal court building.
Okay.
And what we're going to actually be doing is we're going to be authorizing, the council's authorizing bonds so that we could have the funds necessary for acquiring and building out the new court building. But our plan right now is that's the second ordinance we passed tonight, is going to be to basically buy the building outright. The old Dick Weber bowling alley, the city is acquiring that. We've been working on it for over 6 months. And that is going to be the site of our new court facility. Judge Boyle spoke a little bit tonight about the problems that we have with our court. This room here just is not big enough to accommodate the people that we have. The city of Florissant, and I didn't realize this until speaking to the judge, is that we have the largest municipal court in the state of Missouri, with the exception of St. Louis County municipal courts, but there are 3 St. Louis County municipal courts. We just have the one. So we just don't have a place to put people. When you look at the amount of traffic on Lindbergh and New Halls Ferry, you know, people say there's a lot of tickets written. Well, there's a lot of traffic that goes through Florissant, and we're also the largest municipality in the county as well. So that all adds to it. So we've been looking for a place to be able to hold court, and this looks to be an ideal place for us. You and I discussed a few minutes before we went on the air that we'll be using that facility not just for the court, but also there'll be a police presence there. They'll be putting in part of the police and moving them over there, and there's going to be room infinite room for storage and things, and it'll put the court all under one roof. Everybody will be there together. Right now, when they have court over here, they have to walk all the files and bring the files back and forth, and it's just not real functional. And they're out of space for storing their files. So this is a huge facility, plenty of parking. It's on a good location right there at Washington and close to 270. So if we have people coming in that are non-residents, it'll be easier for them to find. And we're kind of excited about it. And as I say, the goal is to purchase it outright, but the bonds are just going to be a backup if we would get into a problem. And as we also said, the state of Missouri authorized us last year, and the council and mayor have signed off on a $10 fee that goes on to tickets that are written, and that is to be used exclusively for building and maintaining a courthouse. So, we hope the number of tickets goes down. That really is our goal. But right now, it looks like that extra $10 fee will pretty much pay for this.
Help reimburse from the building.
It'll reimburse for the portion of it. It'll be used for courts. The law says it has to be used exclusively for a courthouse, and so we're going to have to figure out if 60% of it is for the court and courthouse related, then the city would do the other. But the police department building is filled up. That's an older building. This building's filled up. The annex building's filled. So it's going to give us some much needed space. So we're pretty excited about that.
What's the time frame on closing on that kind of facility? And then the build out that goes along with it, because it was a bowling alley.
Yeah, we're working on that now, and I don't think anybody wants to speculate. Both parties were in agreement. All the papers are signed. There's a period of time we get to do one last inspection for. We've already had an appraisal done. We've already inspected for toxic and things like that. But there's about a 30-day period. As you say, the big question is going to be the build out, what we're going to do with it. And we're already looking now. We're fortunate. Mr. Phil Lum, our building commissioner, is actually an architect. And so he's looking at it architecturally, and then we'll have to go out to bid. And as you said, we're going to have to do a lot of conversion to make the bowling alley into a courthouse. So it's going to. I wouldn't want to say that it'll be a year, but it probably is going to be close to a year before we can get everything done. So.
Any chance you can section off part of it to keep a couple lanes for a youth center?
We just don't know. We could do that. Although I understand maintaining that bowling equipment,
would have to be expensive.
It's like anything else. If you don't use it, it's better to use it than not to use it.
Right.
So, and we're still not certain if AMF is going to come tear out all the lanes and take them with them. Originally, they said they wanted to keep the lanes, and I would assume they will do that. So that'll be a period of time while we wait for them to remove those lanes as well. So.
Okay, well, the last one then was ordinance amending Title II, Chapter 210, offenses by adding a new section regarding the regulation of the sale and possession of vapor products, which have become a fairly hot alternative to smoking.
Yeah, and one of our police officers wrote a recommendation that we look at it, and we pretty much have adopted an ordinance that is similar to some of the other municipalities that they have on board, and I just felt it was something we needed to get on the books. So
have these been able to be sold without any kind of age
pretty
restrictions until
pretty
now?
much there's no, it's something new.
Okay. When
you get something new, there's no restrictions, no anything, and I think even the people that sell them would like to. Now they're going to know these are the rules and this who you can sell to and so on and so forth. So it's going to bring up a whole nother issue I think we're going to hear in the future is, can you smoke? Can you use those vapor cigarettes in places where there's non-smoking because it's not really smoking? And I think you're going to see another round of legislation about that because you're starting to see that crop up now.
You're starting to see it inside office places.
Right. People will say it's not smoking. Well, it's still it's still expelling a vapor, and it's still something that people are not, non-smokers are not happy with. So I think you're going to see some more legislation coming up in the future. Yeah, okay. What'll happen with that? So.
We had a couple of board appointments tonight. Request for a transfer special use permit from Catholic Restaurant Inc., doing business as Catholic, to JB&W LLC. They're going to do business as Tropical Grill.
Right.
It's a carry-out restaurant at 8141 North Lemberg.
Right.
And then a couple first readings. One for the Catholics Restaurant, and another one that was allowing the mayor to go into agreement with for dispatch equipment for the radio system.
Yeah, and this is, if people may remember that they voted some time ago on re-enhancing our 911 system and making it so all the police and firefighters can all talk together and get together, and this is part of the fruits of that labor.
Okay.
So we're going to be upgrading all of our equipment so that it'll be compatible with all of the new radios and all the new equipment you're going to see for the firefighters and the police, and the funding is coming through that special tax that people have agreed to pay, and it's taking a little longer, I understand, to get it off the ground. The new center's been built, the towers are up, and now you have to get all the equipment purchased and put out to all the municipalities and all the people that are going to be using the fire departments, and so this is going to be update our dispatch center.
Okay. That brings us to council announcements, Tim. I think you started off with a thank you to the street department for good snow removal this year.
Yeah, it's one of my first jobs right out of high school, I worked for the Florissant Street Department.
Did you really?
People don't realize what it's like out there plowing snow, and we forget that we're in a place where we don't have snow all the time, and so when these snows come, the street department, they try to get out on top of it. They try to pre-treat where it's appropriate to help later, and they did a pretty good job this year, and I just wanted to give them a shout out and thank them for that. But we also have the Parks Department guys. They do the parking lots at the parks. They do City Hall and the Police Department, and it's a rough night because you're out usually all night long and trying to get everything taken care of, and I know people get aggravated. I being one of them. I get my driveway done, and everything's all shoveled off, and then the snow plows come back when the whole thing's done, and they kind of switch it back again, and it's a difficult thing. But I actually saw a video on YouTube that showed how if you take from your driveway, the left side of your driveway, if you shovel back about 10 feet up the street, then when the plow comes by, there's nothing to throw up into your driveway. So I learned something with that. So it makes it a little more shoveling for you. But for me, the worst part is when you're all done and that slop and stuff, and then it usually freezes in big clumps and you got to get out of there. So yeah, so they did a really good job. We've had 2 snows in the past 10 days, and they did a really good job with it. So.
And hopefully for the city budget and for all of us, that'll be the last snow we see this year.
Well, that'd be great. We were very fortunate. We had a lot of salt stockpiled and chemical, and I think we were well prepared for it. But yeah, it would be good if we could have plenty left over for next year. That'd be good.
Yes, sir. And what else is going on in the city? I think I heard about a picnic, or not a picnic, a pancake breakfast.
Pancake breakfast, yeah. Florissant Old Town Partners is going to host their annual pancake breakfast, and that is going to be on Sunday, March 8th. That's at the Old Town Wedding Chapel right here in Old Town Florissant, and it's from 8 to 12, and it's a nice fundraiser, but it's also just a good opportunity to come out and visit with your friends and neighbors and have some pancakes and sausage, and it's just kind of a good event. And then the night before, on March 7th, is going to be the mayor's annual Shamrock Ball, which is the big fundraiser for Valley Industries. Valley Industries is a great organization, and they work with people with disabilities. They employ them. They do an outstanding job, and this event has grown every year. And we used to have it here at City Hall, and it outgrew the facility. And we have 5 cities involved now, and the mayors, and it sold out last year. And I just heard today that it's close to a sellout again this year. So it's a they call it a green tie affair. It's kind of a semi-formal thing, and it's just really a good opportunity for everybody to get out and support Valley Industries.
Terrific.
What else you want to know? Sunset Park. Everybody knows Sunset Park is in Ward 1. I talk about Sunset Park and the Nature Lodge a lot, and last week, in spite of the cold weather and the snow, we're seeing the parking lot lights getting ready to go up. So. They're the big dusk to dawn lights being put in by Ameren UE, and if you go by there, you'll see them. They're laying in the snow today. I went by this morning and saw them. They're laying in the snow, and they're getting ready to put those in, and the one is up by the lodge. So If you've ever attended an event at the Nature Lodge in the past 4 years, you know that it's pitch dark up there at night. And the parking lot's great, but there was very limited light as well as a road going up to the Nature Lodge. So those lights are there, and they're getting ready to go in, and it'll be a welcome addition to Sunset Park. So,
is the Nature Lodge going to see the improvements come this spring or summer to kind of repair that walkway?
That should be all taken care of, yeah. The side of that walkway kind of deteriorates down. Are you talking about the big trail, or are you talking about?
The big trail.
Big trail's fixed.
Is it fixed?
It is,
okay.
Yeah. Great Rivers Greenway came in last year at the end of the year, and they finally finished that section of trail, and it's back open again. And then the city had to do some minor things to prevent future erosion to get it, and that's what you'll see being done this year, to make sure that but the main trail is open. So if you have more stamina than I do, you can walk down that trail. Walking down is easy.
Getting back up.
Walking back up is a little tough, but they do have some benches for guys like me where you can take a rest on the way back up and you don't get stuck while winded. So, have you been to the new Culver's yet?
I have. Very good place.
Yeah,
Culver's. Good to have it here.
Culver's has just been. People have been so ecstatic about it, and it finally opened. And I drove by it this evening on the way there, and the drive-through line was around the building again, and it's just a phenomena that I guess people are like Culver's and Florissant. So it's been crazy. They did not set their franchise all-time first-day record at ours. They came close, but they ended up having to shut the drive-through down for a while because of the chaos that first day that they were there. So.
Just trying to get the cars around.
Well, the cars line up all the way around, and then they're coming in from two directions, and it's kind of chaotic. And they've started now where you go through you order, and then you pull up and you pay, and now they're stacking the cars off to the side so they can continue to take orders. And they're trying to be very quick to get the things out, and it created them the first day. It created some issues, and I've noticed that even now with the drive-through line, if you've pulled into the parking spaces, the drive-through line will back up and then block the people that are in their parking spaces, and there's no way to get out, and so you have to kind of help direct traffic to get in there. But
they weren't anticipating that kind of traffic coming through.
I'm sure they're tickled to death that they're getting the traffic that they do, but and I'm assuming it'll die down. But I assumed that last week too, and it's still kind of crazy, but. It's kind of a neat thing. So
yeah, it's good to see more new businesses coming to town.
I often wonder, do we need more restaurants and fast food kind of places in that? But evidently they do well in Florissant. So if you've seen Club Fitness, they're open and you can't park in their parking lot either. So
it's because they just left Culver's. They got to work it off.
Maybe that's what they do. They go over there and it's crazy. They had to change parking over there to get it done. So. Anyway, lots of things coming in the spring for the city of Florissant, and
good.
We're looking forward to everything. So we've almost talked as long as the whole meeting has, haven't we?
I think just about. Tim, we appreciate you going through the agenda, going through it in good detail for the residents to understand what's going on, especially kind of talking about the intricacies of the building purchase for the city of Florissant for the new courthouse. So thank you again for your time.
Quite welcome.
And thank you for watching. I'm Russell Inman. This is Council Action. We'll see you next time.